so beautiful. I'm feeling fresh, awake, and alive. I feel like we're ready to do lesson number 6, starting with our anchor. And I've already covered it briefly before. It's essentially an object, a symbol, a smell, a taste, something we assign memories or feelings to. And through this process, you've probably already decided on something, but I just want to go into depth on how we're going to use it and what its real purpose is. I know, for me personally, if I didn't have my anchors, I probably would have forgot most of the magic I've been gifted up until this point, just due to doubt and hesitation and times when life is difficult, which happens to everybody. It's unavoidable. But if you have something that anchors this knowledge to you, no matter what, it's not going to slip. I have jewelry, my tattoos. I have many, many little reminders that constantly keep these concepts, these feelings, this state of existence in my awareness. And because it's in my awareness, these things have stayed and developed as a part of my being. So I know a lot of you are struggling with your mind getting in the way of truly exploring your heart's compass, and you're wondering if you're doing something wrong. And I just want to let you know you're not. It's just that these things take time. Similar like what I'm doing right now. I can't just expect to be at the top of this gully. No, I had to put one foot in front of the other. As we develop, for instance, our sense of feeling, it's going to take some time for it to be not a conscious effort for us to pull this forward. And something that's really going to help in that effort is having an anchor or a reminder to keep us grounded and keep bringing us back to pulling our awareness into feeling and bringing that to the forefront of our being. Now, an interesting point about having these symbols, objects, tastes, smells, yada yada, is as you develop this skill with this item, we're just going to call it energy, with this energy along for the ride, also develops an imprint of the whole journey. And so having it through that whole process actually helps anchor you into those memories, those experiences, as well as makes energy from possibly like the beginning of the journey that isn't available to you anymore because you've developed available because it's present in that object. I've gone so far as to assign different tattoos and objects to different abilities and memories so that I'm not reliant on one solely. It also helps keep the energy organized. You further yourself down the path, there can be a lot of stimulation. You can have a lot of things going on at once. So having ways to separate them, itemize those things really helps, as well as having that pooled energy and experience been along with you really helps hold on to finer details that you would probably slip otherwise. You're making the conscious effort to empower these items, these smells, these scents, these symbols, this energy with the experience that you're experiencing, as well as the energy that's flowing through you in those moments. Something interesting to note for when we're creating these items is, like I was saying, we're going to want to make sure we have a good control over our mind and our feelings and the awareness of the two, because we don't want to store negative emotions in these items. I mean, it's okay if some gets in there, but overall, when we're storing energy in these items, we want to try and do it from a positive place after an experience of expansion, because experiencing expansion fills you up and gives you extra energy, so it's the perfect opportunity to store a little bit for later. So this first anchor is meant to help us remember to observe and absorb base reality, watch out for illusories, and remind us to center into our sense of feeling. How do we feel about these things? Remember, our sense of feeling, our heart's compass, is our most accurate way to navigate the universe when we combine it with our intuition. It's crazy to think an object could suddenly pull all these things into the forefront of our awareness and essentially just change the world we're living in. But it can. That thing can become your key to opening the door to this new reality that you're slowly but surely waking up to. This key to unlocking this new world we're experiencing is going to become increasingly more and more important, but also less and less important in different ways. So it will become more important as it will hold an easy pathway to access all of this information, as well as when a feeling pops up and suddenly you'll be able to store it and help yourself remember it. Because you're going to notice, I think one of the next lessons here will be memory is actually incredibly important. And this is because we're always forgetting stuff. And one of the reasons I'm making this series is so I can remember all this information, because I've probably got enough magical knowledge in my head here to get us to episode 300. And to be honest, the only reason I've been able to remember all this is due to all my different anchors. If I hadn't have taken the time to store this energy, this journey in this object, I never would have gotten to reap the benefits I reap today. So, an interesting way to think of this is imagine yourself as a vessel, right? You're something that can hold water, and your anchor is a cup. And every time you see this anchor and you remember to explore this experience, you put a cup of water into this vessel, right? So through this process of filling yourself, through utilizing this anchor to not only remind you to fill this vessel, but aid you in filling this vessel, it also gains a good amount of power throughout this journey. Look at this. Woodpecker had some lunch. So, another reason our anchor is important is because it gives us an external source of all this energy that we're storing internally. And I know you're wondering, why is that important? Well, let's think of it like backing up your computer. If you were to get corrupted by a negative entity, you would have an external store of all this energy and memory that isn't corrupted. Or vice versa, if your anchor is corrupted, you've got the internal energy to rectify it. So it really just a very important, I guess it is a magic in its own way, but it also falls under another magic we're going to learn later I call imprinting. Anchors are incredibly important. If you haven't already found a taste, scent, smell, sound, feeling, object, symbol, something to represent your journey, to remind you to observe and absorb base reality, don't let your brain get the upper hand, to feel your world, your sensation of feeling, to put your awareness, what you actually are, not in your mind, in your feeling, in your heart. Follow your heart's compass. Wait for intuition to pop in. All of these things will become easier by introducing an anchor. Not only will they become easier, but they'll become safer. And you're going to remember the whole process a whole bunch better. So, if you haven't done it yet, get an anchor and stay beautiful!